from KHON2, happening now.
Good morning, and thank you so much for joining us. All morning long, we've been tracking breaking news as officials urging Oahu's North Shore residents to evacuate safely due to rising floodwaters. Video into our newsroom showed waters at least 5 feet high in some areas, people being rescued from the waters, cars submerged. All this happening overnight as heavy rain pounded the area. Joining us now with the latest is Honolulu City Information Specialist, Ryan Wilson. Thank you so much for being here, Ryan.
Hi, Sarah.
So there's been a couple of new developments. Can you first tell us about the Wahiwa Dam and the status on that?
Sure, the Wahiwa Dam at this point has not failed, but it is at imminent risk of failure. So this is a circumstance, an unprecedented situation where people need to evacuate immediately if they have not done so already. If you have a family or neighbor nearby, pick them up and go. Traffic could be heavy in the area, so we want to make sure people are carpooling to get out. Do not go to Wailua High School or Intermediate. We are closing that location as a shelter, and we are instead sending people up to Lelehua. We're sending people up to Wahiwa District Park, and we're going to be opening up another assembly area in Mililani, and there's one more assembly area at Kahuku as well. So do not go to Wailua, and make sure if you're seeing this that you're evacuating now from that area. And if you have family or friends in that area, please let them know, because they might not be watching this right now. Please text them, please call them to let them know that they should be getting out.
You know, how is the city helping folks evacuate? Are you guys changing any of the traffic lights? Can people use the city bus?
So we actually just moved about 47 people from Wailua up to Wahiwa using the city bus. We have one bus on standby as an evacuation vehicle. That bus can be used by people who are in an emergency situation. They can just flag it down with their pets. There's no fare, and you can just get on the bus and go. It's a challenging situation, though, because the floodwaters are so deep now in that area, and it's an evacuation zone. So we're hoping that people are able to get out on their own or are already out of that area, because it's been now about an hour since we sent out that first notification letting people know that the dam is at imminent risk of failure.
Now, I understand that the situation right now, it's just evolving, but can you tell us if this bus that people may need to use, is it on a schedule? Can they expect like another one to come?
There's no schedule at this point, and I will look into that. I don't know exactly what its route is going to be, or if it's going to take a specific route, or when it's going to be there. I just know that they did take that one load of people, 47 people from Wailua up to Wahiwa, and so we'll see if we're going to deploy it back down there. We do know that first responders are in the area as well, making sure that they're getting to people who may be trapped or stranded or stuck. So we have multiple ways of getting resources to people to make sure that we get them to safety.
Yes, because I do want to ask, there's some people that lost their cars in this flash flooding. So, you know, what should folks do who need to evacuate but don't have a car?
Well, if you lost your car, I imagine that the water's pretty deep in your area. Call 911 at this point. Get a hold of first responders so that we can get to you. One thing that we did do, the Ocean Safety Department has at least one jet ski out there patrolling the floodwaters, going around and trying to help as well, just because of how much water there is out there.
You did mention earlier that Wailua High School was open as an emergency shelter, but now it's been closed. So what should people know at this point in terms of the other assembly areas?
So assembly areas, at this point, they're not really considered to be like a shelter, so it might be that the buildings aren't open. We're going to open the bathrooms as quickly as staff are able to get up there. I will try to find out an update on those facilities before the next time I speak with you. But they are just places for people to get to be safe in one location. We know that they're there. We know we can get resources there once our priority shifts from this emergency situation that's unfolding in the Haleiwa and Wailua area, and then we can get up there to those locations where people have gathered in one spot to make sure that they are taken care of as well. So we're going to be doing that. This is a multi-phased, need response to the situation. And a couple things about that, Sarah, is that we have all of our city departments inside the Emergency Operations Center right now, working with each other, coordinating directly with one another, also in touch with the folks out in the field, first responders that are there as part of the actual emergency response. So we're getting real-time information in from the field, from reports out there, and we are sharing that information amongst ourselves to make sure that we're coordinating and responding accurately and appropriately. Plus, we're working with our partners over at the state to make sure that we're getting to the people and making sure that they stay safe. But one other thing, Sarah, if I might really quick, all of this is heartbreaking to see. And we just want you to know that we understand how painful this is. And we're in emergency response mode. We're taking care of people, making sure they stay safe, they're out of harm's way. And we're going to go into a long-term response as well with all of the damage from the homes and the property that's been lost. And it's so heartbreaking, and it's going to be a long road ahead, but we're going to be here as a city to do that and to help out our residents.
And thank you for sharing that message. If you do have these numbers, do you know how many people have been rescued, and how are they moving the other people who have already been rescued to the other assembly areas?
That's a good question. I don't actually have the response for either one of those because, this is in that phase of time where it is just purely focused on the response and what is next. And so we're not in kind of the tally and saying, okay, we've done this rescue, this rescue, this rescue, this rescue. It's just about what do we need to do right now in this moment. That information will come later along with kind of the property damage assessment and those kinds of things. So we're just focused on the phase, this unprecedented emergency right now, and our only singular focus is on keeping people safe and saving lives.
Well, thank you very much for that update, and we are looking forward to other updates from you, so I appreciate your time.
Sarah, can I add just one thing before I go? I apologize to do this, but we do have many reports of landslides across the island as well, and this is really important to know because this is not just this severe weather situation is obviously having a huge impact on the North Shore, but it's impacting the entire island. So we have landslides along Kamehameha Highway at Kualoa, Waimea, other locations. There's also damage in Waipio. So everyone should stay off the roads. Everyone should stay home, stay safe. There's a risk of landslides. There's a risk of trees falling. There's ponding on the roadways. And our first responders are obviously very busy right now with their emergency response. So we don't need to create another emergency out on the roads unnecessarily by travel when we don't need to do that right now. This is an unprecedented situation, and we need everyone to realize that across all of Oahu. The entire community can do their part right now by just staying safe if you're in a safe location. Now, if you are in the Waialua, Haleiwa area, you need to evacuate. But if you are in a safe spot, please stay where you are.
Absolutely, yes. The storm is definitely impacting North Shore the most right now, but of course, the whole island is also impacted. So thank you very much for that.